Hi there. I'm Steve Worley, owner of the Worley-WBFC Company. Day after Christmas here. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. This is our fly tying video series that we're doing, and today I'm going to show you how to tie the cam skwalla. So this is a pattern that originated from a good friend of mine, Cam Thomas, about 20 years ago to fish the skwalla hatch here on the Yakima. This is absolutely the best skwalla pattern that I've ever seen. You can't sink it, floats like a cork. I've literally fished this pattern along other patterns, that are realistic patterns, a wide variety of different skwalla patterns, and this one by far outfishes it every single time. I've had this thing floating right alongside the real thing on the Yakima here, and the fish come up and take this skwalla. A lot of people look at it. It's different and unique in design, and Cam got his inspirations from a famous fly tyer that's been a mentor to him, and that guy's name's AK Best. If you haven't heard that name before, you should look it up. So this is the cam skwalla. All right, so let's get started here. Show you how to tie this cam skwalla. So the first thing that you're going to do is load a 3x long dry fly hook in your vise. This one happens to be an Arex FW 530. They're a fairly new hook company, but they're making some really nice, super sharp, durable hooks. So the first thing that you're going to do is lay down a thread base, of course. And this is gel spun 50 denier, if I can get it on here. So it's really thin, but super strong. So you really takes a little bit of time just to get a thread base built up, but it's so strong, when you're applying, hair, deer hair, elk hair, moose hair, whichever. It's really nice to work with. You get a nice tight fly. So you got to make sure that you lay down a really good thread base on this hook. Something like that. So to start this fly, we're not going to start back here and work forward. You're going to want to move your bobbin up to about 3/4 of the way up the shank. The first thing that you're going to want to do is snip off a patch of moose body. Comb it out really nice, put it in your stacker, and make sure that all your tips are nice and straight. This moose body is gonna serve as two different items here in the cam skwalla. One, it's going to represent our egg sac on the female skwalla, and then it's also going to add tons of durability and floatability to our fly, as well as give our proportions on our body. So take and get your measurement there. You want the tips of your moose hair just extending off the back of the bend of the hook. And then you take this, you want to take it and you want to push it down over the top of the shank, so the hair is completely surrounding the entire shank of the fly hook, and then pull tight. This GSP, it's just awesome. You can just bind that down, then run it through the moose hair there to get it nice and tightly bound down, and then just get in real close to the butts there and start trimming that out. Makes kind of a mess. Get a lot of hair clippings laying around, but definitely worth it. So once you got that tied in, then you can just bind the rest of those butts down. Got some excess there, you can get it trimmed out. So now the deer hair is completely forming around the shank of your fly. So pull that back tightly. Pull that moose hair back. Watch that hook, it's sharp. And this is really important step here. So you're just going to take and lightly go over the top with your thread, working towards the bend of the hook. And once you get to the bend, you can make a couple wraps there and then pull tight. Really don't want to pull your thread tight here on your body and mash all that hollow hair down. That's really the kind of the magic of the cam squalla and gives its flotation, is all this moose hair that's hollow really adds tons and tons of flotation to it. So again, just to kind of keep your proportions intact, move that thread forward, combine that down real lightly, half hitch, tie it off, and it should look like this so far. So again, let's just move our thread really lightly towards the back. Just try to keep it, each time that you roll forward or reverse, just try to keep your thread in the same grooves there. And the next thing, we're going to add some dubbing. And I really love this dubbing. This is Nature Spirit snowshoe rabbit dubbing. Comes from the hoof of the snowshoe rabbit. It's a great waterproofing dubbing, great for dry flies, super easy to dub on. And, of course, in the natural world with the rabbit, it repels the snow and the moisture away from the rabbit, keeps them nice and warm. So it's a great dry fly. It's going to add more durability and more flotation to the cam squalla here. Dubs on really nice. So put it onto your thread, get it nice and tight here. This happens to be light olive. I think this is about the most natural color for all our squallas here in central Washington on the Yakima, but you can use whatever color you want, or if you want to tie golden stones or some other stonefly with this. So we're going to take and we're going to start wrapping, covering the top of this moose body. And again, really lightly, not pulling tight, just wrapping right over the top, securing our dubbing. And get right to the base there of the moose body and put a half hitch in. And that will secure all of your dubbing to your shank. So the next step is we're going to take a patch of elk hair, and this is dyed done to match the natural wing color of an adult stonefly. And you're going to want to grab a chunk of this and take and I'm going to get all the underfur brushed out of this. You can see you don't want that tied into your fly. So brush that out, put it in your stacker, stack the tips, get them nice and even. Should all look like this. Pull her out of your stacker. It's nice to have a good wing. This is going to add more durability, more floatability for sure. So lay that up on top. Once you have all the tips, you have it all combed out, lay it right up on top of the pattern here, the cam Skwalla. Grab it in your left hand, and we're going to bind this wing down. Again, pull tight. You can see that elk hair flare. Run it through the base. I like to run it through the tips too. That really gets that hair bound down to the shank and gets it secure on the fly. Makes a really durable fly. And then again, just like we did with our moose hair, get in there close and trim out these butts. Get in there close as you can. Pull your thread up out of the way. Just like to get as much of that out as you can. You know that you've tied in you've tied in your wing really well. You know, you can just really comb that back and really none of the fibers come loose or pull out. Sometimes you get a little sneaker there that's shorter. You can chop those out and get them out of there. So the next thing we're just going to take and we're going to bind down any of these butts that we tied in really close. We'll just get them secured. And then just throw a half hitch in there. Okay, so here's the next magic of this fly. You know, a lot of stonefly patterns are tied with these wings that, you know, are formed upwards like this. Even big October caddis or, you know, smaller caddis patterns all have a raised wing. Well, the magic of this fly is how the wing lays down over the top of the body. So when this Skwalla pattern is riding on the water and you're fishing this thing, fishermen are casting this thing in along the edges. I mean, it looks absolutely ridiculously real. So again, you know you've tied in a really durable wing when you can pull that thing straight up like that and really pull on it. Okay, so next thing you're going to do is take your thread, make a couple thread wraps right back behind there, and then you should be about a quarter of a turn away from the base of your wing right there. So take this, form it in your hand, pull it tight, and then pull it down over the top of the body. Take your thread over the top, and again, don't pull tight because we don't want this to flare. We want it just to lay over the top. And we'll just build a thread base here. That will secure it in place. Keep it nice and durable. Here's where you come to a crossroads with this fly. I'm going to tie in rubber legs because I just can't tie stonefly patterns without rubber legs. But the original cam Skwalla did not have rubber legs. So you can apply rubber legs to this pattern, or you can tie them without. I'm going to take these little grizzly micro legs, lay them up here on the top, and just make a couple of thread wraps there. This bob, if you've watched some of the other videos that I've done, you've seen this technique before. So it's just the weight of the bobbin is keeping those in place. Take and chop those, and then you can just take the rubber legs and pull them down over the side of the body here and get them in place where you want them. And again, a few thread wraps each time. Just make them a little tighter. Don't pull. You don't have to pull super tight. We're going to glue them in too with some UV glue, so that will keep them in place and keep them secured. So then take and half hitch that with a big loop. Get your rubber leg in there and chop it off. And then we're going to reattach right behind the eye. Work your thread right up to the base there of your wing. So to complete this fly, we're going to take a done hackle, dry fly, and sized accordingly. We tie this pattern mainly in 8s and 10s for the squallas. So measure it out. Make sure you got a right sized feather here for your fly and tie her in. And make sure it's secure. And work your thread back. And then we're just going to take and we're going to lay down just a small little layer of dubbing in here. Again, you can use, if you want a two-toned, you can use black or a brown or any color that you like here. We're basically we just want to lay down a little foundation here just for our hackle to lay on instead of just laying on all this thread. It's just going to make it a little bit more durable for you. So just take and make some dubbing wraps around here. And work your bobbin up to the back of the eye. And depending on, how long of a fiber hackle you have here, I like to use this hackle plier. It just gives me a little bit more control. So we're going to just start wrapping our hackle forward. Just try to get it in there close, one right behind another. Again, this is going to add more floatability, more color. Just work it towards the eye. And you get to the back of the eye there. Tie it off and secure it. And then you can cut out the excess and pull that back and lay down a good thread base there, securing that. Oh, never a big deal if you break your thread. That doesn't happen very much with gel spun thread. There must have been a little nick or something in it there. So you can just reapply it, lay down another base over the top. Don't panic. Not the end of the world. And throw in a couple half hitches or whatever you like to do to finish off your fly here. If you like to use the tool, you can use the tool, whichever. And chop your thread out. We got a little thread hanging there. Let's get him out. Now you can just kind of fine tune it. Cut your rubber legs to your liking. Again, not necessary if you don't want them in there for this pattern. Works great without them. Then we'll just take a little bit of Solarez UV glue and real lightly just cover that thread. Try not to get it in the eye. It's a bugger if you are on the water and trying to get that UV glue out of the eye of your hook. And then just take and blast it with your light. Get her dry. Dry that thread base there. And there you go. That is the Cam's Skwalla pattern. Great here for fishing on the Yakima River in central Washington or wherever there's a great skwalla hatch. So thanks for viewing and sharing.